What's going on, everybody? We're live here with Daniel Munyer. He's a center for the Arizona Cardinals. Daniel, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming on and talking to us after a few technical difficulties.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for having me.
Yes, for everyone who doesn't know, Daniel, just explain your story. We played together at Colorado, and now he's starting a successful career in the league. So, Daniel, can you just tell us about your journey to the league from high school to college to the NFL?
Yeah, man. From high school, I'm a Southern California boy, so went to high school in the LA area. Then, went to knew I wanted to get out of state, so I ended up going to Colorado. Enjoyed my time there. 4 years. Met Evan over here, and after that, went undrafted for the NFL draft, and then signed a week after the draft with the Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, and I was there for about a year and a half, and then got let go there last October, and then signed on with Arizona in December of last year, at the end of last season, and that's where I'm at now. I started on practice squad with Arizona last year, and then grinded it out through training camp. Even though I knew I was playing well, but there's still some hesitation, still some doubts. And then when I knew I was good, obviously I was excited. My family was excited. Made the team and everything, and I just been enjoying my time here.
Yeah. So, being an undrafted free agent, do you carry that chip on your shoulder? I know this year was a huge year for you.
Yeah.
You started off as third string center, and you were kind of considered a long shot to make the roster, but you ended up making the roster on the last day. Can you share that experience?
It's always a wild ride, especially if you're undrafted, because you just got that much. You have to prove that much more. You got to beat out everyone in front of you, and it's not like it's impossible, but people say it's impossible because they don't want to go through the work, the grind, the just the hours, the hours you put in the off season, and knowing that people have this like conception of you as being undrafted, like they look past you, but I always figured you gotta do something to spark something in their mind about you. Why is this guy better than him, or and I think I was able to prove that. And it's just, I think it comes down to, if you really care about it, you're going to do whatever it takes to prove people wrong. And I think I've been doing that my whole career, going back to high school and even college. Everyone's always saying you're not tall enough or you're not big enough. You're only 6'2". Pro linemen now are like 6'4" to 6'7". But I think I was able to make a point and value myself through my work ethic and just my knowledge of the game, I think, is what put me over the top against a lot of guys. So,
Yeah. So, talk about your knowledge of the game. When you're saying your knowledge of the game, you're talking about film study and things like that.
yeah.
Can you talk about how important that is for guys at a young age, especially these guys here in Europe, to really take that film study and really learn how to watch film and get to the next level?
Yeah, I'd say, knowledge of the game that's probably, in my opinion, that's, the most important, because, you know, you can find size, and you can find guys that don't have the size, but if you can trust someone to go out there and take care of the job, and they're gonna mentally get the job done, then that's more than half the battle right there. And then physicality wise, that's just competing. You're gonna compete against another man, and you learn that along the way. But I think that aspect of studying your opponent, knowing the game plan, being in the film room, watching your opponent, his tendencies on certain plays, certain down and distances, knowing what your opponent's going to do before he even does. That just elevates your game to a whole new level. And I think I was able to do that, especially this last year of just, experience has a lot to do with it. Now I'm going into I'm finishing my third year. But first and second year, you want to do everything the coach said. You want to, make the team, obviously. But you're a rookie, and everything is just going so fast. And I think for me, after this past year, things started settling down for me, and I'm able to play with more comfort, more confidence. Um, but I really do think, like, for me personally, especially being a center, you're in control of the offense besides the quarterback, and you're in control of the O line. And I like having that power, but that comes with great responsibility and maturity as well. And yeah, I think I was able to do that this year. So yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's some great words of wisdom, man. And just being that and having that fighter attitude, and carrying
Mm-hmm.
that on the shoulder, being undersized, people telling you're too small, or in this case, people telling these kids they're from Europe, that,
Right.
you know.
People will tell you no matter what. They'll always try to find something wrong with you because they have this preconceived idea in their head of what everything should look like. But what they can't measure is your heart, your fight, your attitude. I mean, that alone will take you places that you don't even think you can go. So
Yeah, definitely. So what's your favorite part about being an offensive lineman? You know,
favorite part about being an O lineman. Um, Honestly, to me, it's like the O line is like a brotherhood. Like at any level, that goes youth football, high school, college, pro. I mean, that, like, you look at across any team, and I bet you that the O line is going to be the closest group on that team on and off the field, because it's a unit where five guys have to play together every single play in order for that play to be successful. If one person messes up, chances are that it's going to be a negative play. It's going to be a bad play, and that's a lot of responsibility. Getting five guys to be on the same page every time, and I think that naturally just builds camaraderie, and a great work ethic with each other. And I think for O linemen, you come together through adversity. Um, our only stat is how many sacks we give up. How many pressures you give up. There's no positive stat. They don't really. I mean, they'll keep track of, like, knockdown, pancake blocks here and there. But for the most part, it's like, oh, this guy only gave up this amount of sacks, this amount of pressures. And so when you have that idea in your head already, I feel like you gotta have a certain attitude to play O line, and I think everyone together has those attitudes, and that to me, that's the best part about playing O line, is knowing that these guys are probably gonna be my friends down the line as well.
big
So
nasty friends, huh?
yep.
That's what's up. Kid, we had two questions. One guy asked, he said, what's the ideal weight of a lineman, and what are the essential nutritions and food supplements after workouts?
Okay. I mean, ideal weight or height or both?
He asked for both. I mean, no, he asked for just the weight, but you can throw height.
Weight, I mean, I'd say at the professional level, I mean, give or take, like, there's exceptions, but I'd say weight ranging anywhere between 290, 295 to 325. So that I'd say that 30 pound gap between the two. But I mean, I've seen guys that play at 285, and I've seen guys that play at 340. It just depends if you can move with that weight. But to me, I'd say the average. Everyone says, like, oh, 300 pounds. So I'd say about 305 is about the average.
Okay, and then he's also asked, what are the essential nutritions and food supplements after workouts?
Um,
Not the burgers that you guys like to
yeah,
eat.
not the cheat day meals. Yeah, I mean, during the off season, I try to put myself on a pretty strict diet. Before I work out in the off season, I'll try to eat some oatmeal with some fruit, and I like eggs. I mean, if you like eggs, I always think that's a good idea. and bacon. I'll do that, and then after a workout, I'll try to get something right away within the first hour. I try to get, more lean meats, chicken. I eat a lot of fish. I like fish, sushi. Um, I try to stay away from the greasy stuff, like the French fries, anything that's fried. I try to stay away from. I don't really eat candy or drink sodas, anything like that. It's water, and if I'm drinking Gatorade, it's got to be like during practice or like during an actual workout. I won't drink Gatorade if I'm just hanging out at home, because that's just a lot of sugar that will turn to fat if not used.
Yeah.
So waters, probably drink at least a gallon of water every day. Um, and then if I'm treating myself, you go out, you get some steaks and all that. But if I'm eating a steak, I'll try to just go like steak and vegetables. I'll stay away from like potatoes if it's late at night or something like that. So
Awesome, cool. And
yeah.
then we had another question. Which are the best core workouts for offensive linemen, if that exists?
Yeah. Hey, O linemen have strong cores, believe it or not. There might not be any definition, but I think we got some pretty strong cores. You got to be able to get in a 2-point stance and block people coming at you.
Yeah.
I'd say anything that is putting you in a football position, like say you come from a 3-point stance to a 2-point stance, and anything that you can do, like I know in the off season we'll do workouts where you're holding like a medicine ball in your O line stance, like you're punching out with a medicine ball, but you're holding onto it, and then you'll have someone knock that medicine ball around, up, down, left, and right, all around, and then you might be able to do it where you take a kick set and then do that as well. To me, I think that's realistic core exercise, because you can do all the abs or crunches in the world, but I think for O linemen especially, getting yourself in that football position, like any the position that you're going to take when you're blocking on a defender coming full speed at you, to mimic that as best as you can. I think that's going to help you develop that core that will actually correlate to the field as well.
Mm-hmm.
So whether that's with the medicine ball, there's also if you take, like, they have those elastic like TheraBands, if you bring them out and like I don't even know how to explain it. Like you're going, you're going out with those bands, and if you're in a football position, 2-point stance, chest up, like stuff like that, I think is very beneficial for O linemen.
Perfect. So, answer is O linemen do have core, and you can't.
They do have cores. It's there, believe it or not.
And we had another question. He said, "Do you get pain in certain body areas, and if you get them, what do you do against them?"
Certain pain. Yeah, I think just naturally playing O line, you're gonna get beat up because it's the only position besides D line where you have to hit someone every single play. You got to block someone. You're gonna make contact every play. So I feel like, naturally your shoulders are gonna get beat up or bruised a little bit. I always found just like putting ice on that, and then with your legs. Those always go first too, because you're always on your legs, running around obviously, and trying to block people off the line of scrimmage. And I'm a big fan of the cold tub. Some people don't believe in it, but I always thought cold tub works for me. And then either that or I'll roll out my legs with like a foam roller. I'll do stuff like that before practice, cold tub after practice. I really think that helps a long way with saving your legs.
And just last question, just share some experience about being on the field with future Hall of Famers like Larry Fitzgerald, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
What's that like? What's that experience like?
It's pretty crazy. Like sometimes you gotta like kind of slap yourself. Like, it can be like fangirling in the locker room, but it's cool, especially when you're on the sideline or you're in the game and you see them make those spectacular plays that you've always grown up, watching. I grew up watching Larry Fitzgerald, Adrian Peterson, Carson Palmer, all these guys, and now you're in the locker room playing with them, and they're just normal guys, but they've been blessed to be, really good at football, having that athletic ability and their their work attitude as well. Nothing comes to anyone just because you're athletically gifted. They obviously worked extremely hard over their careers to do that, but it's been nice. We were talking earlier, the first day, that first week, Adrian Peterson came to us, and he ran for like 130 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he was just there for 5 days. Didn't even know our offense completely, but you give him the ball and you just kind of get out of the way. You just let him do his thing because he's been doing it for years. And then with Fitz, man, he's always made catches his whole life, even this season. But for me, anytime I think of like great plays that I've witnessed in person was I think it was like our fourth game of the season. We were playing San Francisco at home, and it was in overtime, and we were going down to score. And I remember Carson dropped back, and Fitz ran like a slant or something, and he threw it in the back of the end zone, and Fitz dove and caught it, and just it was the play of the game. Obviously, it was the play to win the game. Mm-hmm. And just to see someone who's 34 years old and he's still making plays like that. He's the oldest player now to have 100 receptions and over 1,000 yards in the same season. And just that type of work ethic, to me, it rubs off on everyone because you see this man doing this at that high of a level, in his age. It just tells you, like, you got to do better, because he's doing that still. And the great part about it is they're doing that in practice too, and in training camp and spring OTAs. They're making those plays in practice, so it's going to translate. Fitz is out there practicing every single day, not skipping days, making diving catches in practice, and you're just like, dang, man, this dude is – I'm actually witnessing a Hall of Famer right in front of me. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been fortunate enough to see that over the last couple of years with both teams that I've played on as well.
Nice. So last thing, just any tips that you would give to these young European players on how to improve better or the steps they need to take to make it to the next level playing offensive line?
Playing offensive line, I would say, obviously your attitude. Playing O-line is you got to have a certain attitude. I was telling you earlier, to play O-line, it's kind of that, you don't take any crap from anyone. You got to be that aggressor out on the field. Doesn't mean, you got to be, mean to anyone off the field, but you got to have that certain switch where you could turn it on and off once you get on the field, and knowing that, you're not going to get rewarded for it too. No one's going to really recognize you unless something goes bad. But you yourself know, and the 4 other guys around you guys know what you did that day. You knocked some people around. So you got to have that type of attitude. And we were talking earlier, just you got to be a smart player to play O-line. It's not just lining up, hitting someone across from you. Obviously, there's plays, but you got to know if something doesn't go according to plan, having that natural, instinct to make something happen out of nothing. I think those 2 qualities are great for any O-lineman. So.
Perfect, man.
Yeah.
Munyer, I appreciate it. I still remember like it was yesterday when you came in as a redshirt freshman, just knocking people out. Now you're doing it at the next level. I still couldn't believe they redshirted you, but it all worked out for the best for you, man. And success and get better soon. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right, take care.
Yeah.